The Sunday Roundtable is assembled here at OTR this morning, and joining us this morning are Boston Globe columnist Adrienne Walker and Republican political analyst Jenny Buckingham. It's great to see you guys. Happy Sunday. Great to see you.
Good to be here.
So Patrick Tutwiler was just in the chair. So, Adrienne, let me start with you. What was the biggest takeaway from the conversation? I know people really aren't thinking of school in July, but nonetheless, this is a very important year-round subject and need.
My biggest takeaway is that nobody knows what to do with the court decision about affirmative action. You know, there's a lot of concern about what it means, and it's been coming, of course, for a couple of years, but they're still thinking through what to do with it.
Well, I was in Target last week, and they're already putting back-to-school supplies out, which is very,
so people
very
are thinking about
seriously, really.
Yes. So my takeaway is it's a very tough job to be Secretary of Education in this state because there's so many players and so many voices, and he's really got to carve a place for himself in that conversation. And that local experience he has may be the place.
Well, and as Adrienne mentioned, with the addition of trying to define, come to terms with, determine what this decision by the High Court means too.
Well, he's not the only one.
He's not the only one.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, the Sumner Tunnel closure, we all want to talk about that. It's underway. It's bad. It's miserable. And tomorrow could be the worst day yet, since a lot of people were off last week for the holiday week. Now, the governor was also away on vacation. Will the blowback hit the corner office on her first day back? What do you think, Jenny?
I mean, I doubt it. They've done a good job at preparing people for it, and that's really all you could do with something this major and catastrophic. I live on the North Shore. I'm never getting to Boston again. I just accept it.
We've seen the lieutenant governor and the transportation secretary out there last week. They were riding the trains.
You're going to be remote, in other words, on OTR, right?
Yes, yeah, right. We'll be her and Scotty. So what do you think, Adrienne?
I mean, it's a mess, and it's just going to be a mess for the next 2 or 3 months.
And the fact that the governor hasn't, I mean, she's been on vacation this week. She was in Ireland the previous week. Do you think people would want to see more of her during this time?
I think people will complain, but there's only so much you can do.
But if you've been caught in the middle of it, it is extremely frustrating. I came back from a trip to Washington, D.C., and we live in the immediate Metro West of Boston, 12 miles away from the airport. We had to go to Revere, go across, and I know how to cut over to the Tobin Bridge, yada, 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 just to get home. It took longer to get home than it did to fly from Washington, D.C.
I have 2 words for you as a former Massport official. Worcester Airport.
Worcester Airport. TF Green. There's 3, right? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, a big pivot on a planned shutdown of the new Green Line extension. We can't do a show without talking about the T, right? But it seems that someone got the message that shutting down public transportation at a time when you're urging people to ditch the drive and use public transportation was a bad idea. A lot needs to be fixed out there. But is MassDOT and the Transportation Secretary, Gina Fiandaca, committing unforced errors? What do you think, Adrienne?
Well, I think it's a horrible time to shut down more things. I mean, we just talked about the Sumner Tunnel. They're telling people to get on the blue line, right? And you can't get on any of the lines and get where you're going.
Public confidence is not exactly high either.
No, it is not, and I think morale at the T is not particularly high either.
Yeah, Jenny?
That's probably true. I mean, it's common sense stuff that I'm glad the governor's office weighed in and course corrected, but stuff like that shouldn't happen.
But why should that even be in the sort of, why should anybody even be talking about that when you're engaging in such a huge project that you're arguing people should get on public transportation?
Bureaucrats run amok. That's probably the answer.
It almost begs the question, does the left hand talk to the right hand? Do you understand what you're doing over here? Over here? I mean, it's just...
Look, it's a big, complicated system in fairness to all involved, and I'm just glad the governor's office did the right thing.
Yeah, but I think it's got to be incredibly frustrating to the riders that an extension that just opened, basically, is already getting shut down.
Right. All right, not a good look for the Boston City Council right now. Councilor Ricardo Arroyo recently admitting to ethics violations. He ended up paying a fine. Councilor Kendra Lara involved in a car crash that injured her young son. She's accused of driving with a revoked license and driving an unregistered car and uninsured car. Police say her son was not in a required booster seat. Now, Boston City Council President Ed Flynn put out a statement saying these events and others in the past continue to draw negative attention to the institution of the Boston City Council and distract our city from focusing on the people's business. Should Lara and Arroyo resign, Adrienne?
I don't know if they should resign, but it's kind of jaw-dropping that the city council president would put out a statement bashing the city council. In 30 years of covering the city council, I've never seen anybody do that. That's kind of nuts.
What do you think?
Look, this isn't the first controversy that Ricardo Arroyo has been involved in, and his fellow councilor had called for him to resign resign after the last one involving U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins at the time. That's a few too many strikes in my book.
Resignations? What do you think?
I think for sure Arroyo, and I'd want to learn more about what happened with Kendra Lara. That's just a bizarre situation.
Yeah. And so veteran at-large City Council member Mike Flaherty announced also last week that he will not run for re-election after 2 decades of service. Do you think the current chaos on the council played into that decision?
I mean, it's not the best place to be working right now, and on a lot of levels. I really don't know. It was kind of a surprise, I think, to a lot of people.
It was a surprise to a lot of people.
Made that decision.
Yeah, what was especially surprising is the timing, because he pulled papers and it looked like he was going to run, and now he's dropping out too late for somebody else to run.
Right. Do you think we'll see him again in an elected position, potentially, or pushing for something?
Possibly, yeah.
Very possible. He's been around a long time.
Yep.
We continue on the record. Stay with us.